you, but from like a distance.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I was kind of off to the side that day.
right. All right, let's just introduce you to everyone. Hi, everyone. We're here with Let's Talk with Mel, and this is Scarlet Rose.
Hi.
And we're going to do some questions and get to know Scarlet Rose. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Uh, okay. Yeah, my name is Scarlett. I'm a photographer slash model. I've been doing photography since about 2014 and modeling since about 2019. Um, I have been on a hiatus for the past 2 or 3 years. So the last couple months I've been dipping my toes back into photography and modeling, and it's been pretty great.
You totally just hit a few of the questions I was going to ask later. So that's good. Do you want to share with us what is modeling and photography your career, or do you have a different career and these are just hobbies? I know you mentioned it earlier, but I wasn't recording.
Yeah, so I'm in the healthcare field. I've been in it for a while. I did a bit of like massage, natural remedies, and then I went to school for physical therapy and nursing. So I'm kind of all over the place in the healthcare field. Um, but it is my passion. Like I love helping people. And on my free time, I like to, I guess, disassociate and just be creative, um, through photography and modeling.
All right. So that was going to be one of my questions, that you are a photographer and a model. I saw that on your profile. And I was going to ask you which came first, but you kind of answered that. So what motivated you into each of those?
Yeah, so I remember when I was like 12, I had one of those little like Casio cameras. And it was like a 16 megapixel camera. And it was gifted to me, and I just kind of started going around shooting. And I remember specifically, like I took a picture of it was a lily, and it was so pretty. And I have it somewhere, but I don't know where. And after that, I was like, wow, like I really love taking pictures. I couldn't really afford a camera being a 12-year-old. So finally, when I was around like 19, I was able to buy my first camera. It was a Canon T5i, which I still shoot with. It's still my favorite camera, even though I have newer ones. Um, and yeah, so I dipped my fingers into, or took my toes into some I did landscape photography, I did like wedding photography, I did portraits. Um but it was more of a hobby, like getting paid to do photography. It just kind of killed the fun for me, because then it became more stressful, more like people pleasing, and so I just decided to just keep it as a hobby. And as for the modeling part, I had a coworker that was like, "Wow, like you should come and shoot with us sometimes." And at the time it was when they had the poppy fields. So I was kind of reluctant, but I decided to go, and I was very shy and I didn't want to show like how excited I was, but I really was. And I ended up meeting another photographer there, and with that photographer, he was showing me some of his work and like showed me some of his like boudoir work as well. And I had a boyfriend that was living in Germany at the time. So for Valentine's Day, I wanted to like create like a boudoir album and ship it to him. So I ended up doing a boudoir session for that. And then I kind of just fell in love with the thrill of it afterwards. And that's how I got into it.
So it was a photographer at the poppy field that you saw that was doing that offered that, and then you stuck to it. You liked the process of it.
Yeah, so it was a coworker that invited me to go to the poppy fields, and he brought a friend that was um a boudoir photographer, and he was kind of just joining along with the other friend. They I guess they enjoyed the hobby together, and I just happened to be the center of attention for the day. But yeah, we all really clicked, and it was really nice. The three of us would hang out for, I think we hung out for maybe like a year or two, and we would just travel. We went to like Yosemite, we went to Big Sur, we went to Joshua Tree, and we would just go and shoot and have fun.
What are some of the differences between modeling in general and boudoir modeling that people might not notice from like as an outsider, aside from like the obvious?
Yeah, I mean, I I found myself asked this question before, and I was like, I don't really know of the difference, but I know that um sometimes with, regular modeling, you can get by with just doing a lot of like motions and like getting the right shot that's in the photographer's mind, whereas with boudoir, I feel like you kind of get contorted into these like really hard poses that look so effortless, and they look so beautiful and so sexy, but when you're modeling it's like, oh my god, please take the picture already, I'm dying. So like it's really hard sometimes to hold some poses, especially, you know, they'll tell you to like arch your back more or like hold your foot out so that you're creating a lot of lines with boudoir. So you need to be able to like have a lot of core strength to be able to hold some poses. Um, that's really the only difference I've really seen.
How long did it take you to adjust to those types of poses? Because that does sound difficult. I know for regular modeling, even though I'm doing like one little thing, the next day I'll be really sore. So I imagine you're probably like super sore for several days with the whole difficult posing.
Well, I've always been into like yoga and gymnastics and stretching. So it wasn't that hard for me because I was, was properly stretching and holding poses just in the general. But I was 2 years in school and I've lost a lot of my flexibility, and nowadays it's like um you just kind of push through it, try to breathe, hold your breath, um which is like, counterintuitive, but sometimes you just need to like breathe through it, other times it's just like, just hold. So yeah, I guess that's all I can say about that.
And how has being on both sides of the camera helped you as a photographer and as a model?
Um, I think what really helps sometimes is when I see, sometimes like photographers will give me previews of pictures. Like we'll be shooting and they'll be like, "Oh, look at this shot." And I'll be like, "Oh, can we redo it?" Because then I see what's wrong with like from the angle that they're taking the picture. I can kind of adjust my body to get the proper angle. So it's really helpful to be able to know angles and lighting. For example, like if they pose me in certain lighting, I know that the idea that's kind of in their head, and how to properly adjust my body to it, to what they're wanting. I think it's really fun because um for myself it's like they tell me an idea that they have in their head and I get all excited. I'm like, oh my god, I totally see it. And then also sometimes with different photographers, some of them are less experienced, some of them are more experienced, and then being able to like contribute to the settings of it is also really nice sometimes too. Because sometimes they have an idea and like we make that happen, but then I also have an idea that I want to make happen. So then we can kind of work things out to where they get the shot. It's like, yeah.
Okay, that's great. I like that. I wasn't expecting that, but that makes sense. If you're used to seeing things from the photography side as a model, you can see how you can adjust things to look a certain way.
Yeah.
That makes okay, a couple questions about the Mad Max meet. Now, this is something I ask everyone because I'm really, really curious. Which location was your favorite?
It has to be the I don't know, it was like a gazebo that had like torn curtains. That was probably my favorite one.
Where was that? I've seen the pictures, but I don't know like where it was at our stops.
It was like, like assuming that when we drove in, that way is south, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then going towards the pyramids is east,
Okay.
right? So it was west of the pyramids.
Okay. So
Yeah.
where that car with the cloth stuff was toward that side or the opposite side?
like it was I think like very close to where there was an RV parked.
Okay. Yeah, I totally missed that. I missed that, but I've seen your pictures and those look really, really pretty.
Yeah, they were great.
And actually, one of my favorite photos of the whole day is there's this picture of you and Eric, and you have like a sword,
Oh,
and he just looks like he's about to be in trouble. Like he has like this I give up look with like his head down. That's one of my most favorite pictures in all of them. Can you like tell us a little bit what was happening during that time? Did you guys plan that? It looks so deep. And I asked Eric, he's like, "Oh no, we were just having fun." And I'm like, "No, I need more. This had meaning."
oh yeah. So it was really funny because he was like, we were trying to shoot, and he's like, "You have to be more serious. You can't look so happy." And I was like trying to be serious when he's like, "It's okay. Like, I'll coach you through this. I've been an actor, and I'm in the um." I do the Knott's Berry scare frights, and so he's kind of like coaching me through it, and I'm trying not to smile, but like, yeah. So I just kind of honed in, and I was like, okay, look mad. And it was really fun. And I actually, when I saw him from the distance, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm wearing white and he's like in all black. This is gonna look really epic if we do a collab together, because it'll be a huge contrast. And I think it was a pretty good success.
Yeah, that picture was beautiful. So you of all the photos that you had, I think you mentioned the gazebo one. Was that your favorite one?
Mm, yeah, like I think I just loved like all of the gazebo ones. They were really great.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to see all of them, I think, but, I know that there was, like, a lot of pictures getting taken at that time. There's one more that I think it's pretty big up there on the list. One of the photographers, took a picture. I brought out fire fans, and I started belly dancing on top of one of the cars, and it was really fun. And so one of the photographers took a picture of me doing a pose where like one of my hands was over and then the other hand was like extended when I had the fire fans and the wind was blowing, so you could just see the fans like flowing in the air and the lights because they lit up, and it was just a really nice contrast. Like everything was super epic.
Is that picture out yet?
I don't know. I
Was,
think I can send it to you.
say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I can send it to you.
Okay. Was this where the empty buildings with graffiti on them were? Okay,
Mhm.
so I saw that from a distance, but I didn't know that was you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had like 3 or 4 outfit changes that day, so
All right, that was you. That was really pretty. I was like, that's pretty. Who is that? And then I left 'cause it was cold, but I did see you. That was really nice. Um, did you experience any challenging moments that day?
Mm, I think just when I first got there, I was a little shy. And because I got there a little later, I was like, I didn't know how to incorporate myself into the group. And I think at first, I kind of felt a little self-conscious because everybody was obviously like already in their little groups and everybody kind of had their flow going on. And I just started like, I was just standing on the side waiting to like get some pictures. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? But I think it was just a matter of everybody warming up to each other.
Did you arrive by yourself?
Basically.
Yeah, okay, so I could imagine that being more difficult to try to incorporate. Is there anything else you want to mention about Mad Max?
It would be nice to mention that the energy was really great. Everybody was so helpful and very like it wasn't there was like groups, but then at the same time it was still like if kind of felt like a family. Like everybody was just there to create, and spend time with each other, and people were helpful. There was a moment that I had a gun and it was really heavy. I kind of made a mistake where I guess I missed it. Like I read the instructions, but I must have missed where it said no real guns. So I had a real gun with me, but it wasn't loaded. Like it didn't even have the chamber inside. It was really, really heavy. And so then one of the guys was like, "Here, like take my gun. This one's like made of plastic, so it's not heavy." So just like little things like that. I was having like a wardrobe malfunction, and I was looking for a zip tie or anything to kind of like get my outfit together. And this lady comes up to me. She's like, I don't have any rope or zip ties, but I have yarn. So then like we put my outfit together with like a piece of yarn. It was just really nice.
That got to me. I got teary-eyed. I totally, I could, because I felt that. And I feel like a lot of people brought that up, that it was really like tight knit and like family, and it was really close. It was a nice community. Aw.
Yeah, I wish I would have interacted more with like all the other models because I think there was like three or four other models that were there. But I guess I was just kind of like I don't know if it's like selfish or like in my head, I just kind of wanted to be in my own little space. Um, and I kind of went in there with like I have all these ideas in my head of like shots that I want to take already. So I wish I would have not stuck to like my plans and just gone more with the flow, I think.
Well, there's rumors that there might be a second trip out there. If that does happen, would you go?
I so would, but the thing is, because of my work schedule, I don't always have the same days off. So I'm praying that I know that there's like um, another photo shoot meetup, not with the Mad Max group, but with the For the Vibes shoot. And I work that day, and I'm planning on going, but you know, it is what it is. I have to work with what I got. So hopefully, I have the day off.
Hopefully it's on a day where everyone can make it, because that really was a great group to work with.
It was.
Moving on from Mad Max, which year was your favorite in grade school and why?
My favorite was actually seventh grade. I feel like I was my truest self then, and I just really had no regard for what people thought. I just did what I wanted and whatever made me feel good, and it was nice. But I felt I felt very loved and surrounded by lots of friends.
That was a good year. I read in one of your posts that you experienced body dysmorphia. How do you overcome the symptoms and model for your shoots? And do you have a specific process that you go through for that?
Do you want a detailed answer or the short answer?
If you feel comfortable sharing details, I would accept it. If you don't, you could short answer it.
Yeah, I actually love to share my story because I know there's a lot of people out there with body dysmorphia and um I just want to put it out there, you know, that it doesn't matter if you're skinny, if you're super skinny, have no curves, doesn't matter if you have like 10 jelly rolls, you're still beautiful. So I actually grew up and I think I mentioned in this in one of my other posts, like when I was like 4 years old, I experienced, you know, very early on, beauty standards. Um, so I had a teacher that would, she had like a nickname for me when I was like, it was a Spanish nickname. The word is feo tía, which basically means like ugly one. Um, so she would, you know, she'd be like, oh, come here, feo tía, feo tía. Yeah, so I kind of grew up, and then my siblings, they're a lot lighter skinned than I am. And people, unfortunately, you know, there's still a lot of racism out there. So it was like very apparent that I did not look like my siblings. And they would also say things like, oh, yeah, like you're adopted, you're not one of us, because I was darker skinned than them. So I just grew up with like a lot of like little things here and there. And then when I was 12 years old, my siblings, they both kind of blew up. They gained a lot of weight. And my mom was always like, you know, like take care of yourself, like you're gonna get fat. And so it was like, I guess it was generational trauma of like fear of gaining weight. So I actually stopped eating when I was about 12 years old. Um, and I actually didn't grow as much as I should have because I wasn't getting the nutrients that I needed. So to this day, I'm still 4'10", so I'm tiny. So eat your vegetables. Um, and yeah, so I struggled with that for about maybe like from when I was 12 until I was like 19 years old. I was off and on like anorexic. Um, and the thing is that with some eating disorders, sometimes you can't tell like people they look healthy. They don't look like fat or skinny. or they just kind of look in between. They look healthy. So there's actually another term for an eating disorder where you don't look, severely overweight, where it's like bulimia, where you're like um sometimes people will purge and then puke themselves. And then there's like the other opposite where it's like they just don't eat at all. Well, there's one in between where it's like you're like very meticulously calorie counting, or you're like obsessed with going to the gym, and it's called EDNOS. So I was never clinically diagnosed, but my family was very much aware of my eating disorders and they were very worried for me. Um, and I prayed a lot and I felt like God didn't listen. Um, but I think actually photography has made me feel more empowered, that it doesn't matter that I'm not a size 0, like I'm still freaking gorgeous. And it's not in like a like a what's the word? Like I'm not being conceited about it. I just get to see my beauty. Sometimes I forget how beautiful I am. And when I go to these photo shoots and then, the photographers, they send me their pictures and I'm just like, wow, that's a really nice shot. That's me. That's crazy. And so it's very empowering and I love it. And I love to be a part of it and also to encourage other women to, just take hold of your beauty, of your natural beauty. You know, Sometimes we just need a little umph to help us remember, who we are. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I can validate and confirm that you actually are very beautiful.
Thank you.
Is there any advice you can give models that maybe they don't feel like they're pretty enough, and that kind of gets, because I know there's certain situations when people go to those meets, a lot of models that don't fit the typical standards get overlooked or get kind of like ignored or go off to the sides and don't get as much focus and attention at the meets than everybody else. Is there anything that you would offer them to how they could get more involved or what they can do to not feel the way that they're feeling?
I probably have bad advice, but it's good advice at the same time. I've been there myself. I think when one of the first shoots that I came back being a heavier girl, I was really self-conscious. I thought that my fit was like fire. And I was like, man, like I'm gonna get all this attention and it's gonna be great. And then I get to the shoot and like it was one of the first times that like I stood up in front of like the group of photographers to pose, and then they all kind of just went away, and I was like, damn, I must look that bad. But then, I think it just comes with time. Like, I stayed there and I thankfully had a friend with me. So I think that would be one of my pieces of advice is bring a friend. If you start feeling down, then just like go to your friend and give your guys selves like a little pep talk. And then another thing too is that don't be afraid to collab. Say that you think there's someone that's like super gorgeous there and like you feel a little like self-conscious, just ask if you could take pictures with them. Most of these people at these shoots are super nice. So at that same shoot, where I was feeling self-conscious, I saw this one other person that was kind of off to the side and they weren't really getting a lot of attention themselves either. And I was like, hey, like, do you want to like collab and like start posing? And yeah, so that just us two posing turned into like another person coming in to pose, and we ended up having this like little group. And I think that like set from the three of us shooting was one probably like my favorite pictures from the whole night. And then also my friend and I, we went out and we just took a shot. So yeah, liquid courage, right?
I love that. I do not recommend it for anyone under 21.
Exactly.
Don't drink and drive.
Exactly, yeah. But if you can safely do it and you feel like you need a little something to distract yourself, then sometimes that helps. That's actually when I first did boudoir, I was really, really nervous. And I thankfully was like at someone's residence, so it was safe for me to drink. Um, so And that first time, like, I took a shot and then I put on my favorite music and then I just started vibing to the music. And then, like, I just ignored that the photographer was there and I was just doing my own thing. Pictures came out great.
Do you have some of those first pictures that you took that you can send over? Then I can add it to the end of this.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm. Wow, thank you for sharing all that. That was really good. That's some good information I feel like a lot of people can relate to and use. Okay, so on a lighter note, do you have a bucket list you can tell us about of stuff you want to do
In terms of photography,
in general?
I have several goals. A friend of mine, he's also a photographer, and we usually go to like these meets together, or we just usually do our own thing. So we have a bunch of ideas in our head, which is really nice because we'll go on like Instagram and we'll see videos of like different like photo shoots or like photo of different like these really, really nice outfits. So we recreate the ideas. I think the next photo shoot that we have in mind is like this like fairy type photo shoot. um, so I'm really excited for that one. I think my biggest modeling goal so far is like I really want to get published on a magazine, even if it's like a little like mom and pop one. Um, I think it would be really fun to be part of that. And I definitely want to get better at knowing my settings. I'm still shooting with my T5i. It's probably time I upgrade. So I have a Sony A6000, but I wasn't a big fan of the the software of it. So yeah, probably time to upgrade. And then personal, I think just travel more. My like bucket list of like travel destinations. I really want to go to Havasu Falls, but I know it's also hard to get tickets to go in there because it's on an Indian reservation, so you have to get it like a whole year ahead. Um, yeah,
Alright.
got it.
And I think you kind of just answered this one. It was my last question. What goals do you have for this upcoming year?
Oh yeah, new camera and get published.
Camera and published. Great goals.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything else you'd like to tell us about you? I don't know, favorite shows, your daily routine. Do you have
Mm,
bunny slippers? Do you have any pets?
I actually do have bunny
Shut
slippers.
up! Do you really?
Hold on, they're kind of dirty, but are they there? Oh yeah,
I cannot. What were the chances?
yeah, bunny slippers.
I cannot. What were the odds of that?
And I guess I can show you the loves of my life. This is Sunshine. Oh,
You have an orange. Okay, is it true what they say about orange cats?
orange cats are reckless and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So that's Sunshine, and this is Luna. And another fun fact is that for sorry for the movement, for Christmas, we all dressed up as elves and we had ourselves a little home photo shoot.
Oh, okay, you gotta send me that too.
Yeah.
Fun. Hey, I love cats. You just totally made my whole night.
Aw, I love that.
I have one here. She's sleeping.
Oh, you woke her up. What's her name?
That one is Salem because she's a little witch. And she's dogging me now.
It's because you woke her up.
I did. I just totally picked her up with no regard to her peace. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
buddy.
mine are fighting now.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for telling us more about you, letting us get to know you and see your cute bunny slippers and your cats. I thought that was, and for
Of course.
sharing your story. I know that's difficult, but I really do appreciate when people are able to say that because you never know who's struggling with what and who you can reach with your story. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you being able to do that.
And I guess just one last thing, if there is someone out there struggling with body dysmorphia, I know it's a very lonely disorder because there's a lot of people that feel ashamed to talk to their family members or judged. And it's really hard to talk to people and open up about it. So if you're struggling, go ahead and shoot me a DM. Like I'll answer. Maybe not right away because I'm really busy, but I am an ally.
Thank you for offering that. I'm gonna pause this and then we can continue chatting.
That's good.